Test, test, test. got to read the legend and you love it. I'm trying to get loud.
What do you use for? What do you want?
You got a PowerPoint.
You use for a desktop?
Thursday. I'm good. How are you doing? It's good to see you. There's a few on here. I want to make sure I get the right one. Yeah, I'm scared of the other stuff. There's
Especially the ones we're not supposed to see.
Oh, you already know what I'm doing.
straight over there.
You need to meet Travis?
Smart.
Fine on?
Yeah, I did.
Mic check, mic check.
No video and audio, nothing, just a slide. Yeah.
Charlie had a brother, JC. Yeah, JC. I married JC's oldest son. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Y'all know JC.
I'm not a daughter, perfect.
The camp is really nice.
Where was it at?
In Wilmington,
Where at it?
North Carolina. Oh, they play one game at the university.
Okay.
And then there was City Park.
to the July 11, 2022 school board meeting. I would like to welcome our newest school board member, Mrs. Lane, to the school board. Thank you, Mrs. Lane. And I would also like to call the meeting to order. The position for the board chair is now vacant, so the floor is open for nominations for board chair. It has been nominated and properly second for Dr. Goodwin to be the chair of the school board. Are there any other nominations? All in favor of Dr. Goodwin being chair of the school board? Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Congratulations, Dr. Goodwin. You will remain chair. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, colleagues, for your support. And I will try to be an efficient and effective chairperson. So thank you for your vote of confidence. Next, we need to have nominations for the position of vice chair. Have any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Chris Smith for vice chair.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other nominees for vice chair? Do we have a motion then to close the nominations?
Close the nomination.
Okay. All in favor of Chris Smith, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Smith. You are now vice chair. We need a motion to elect the clerk. You know that Dr. Shannon, who's the superintendent, also serves as the clerk, and Ms. Laverne Artis serves as deputy clerk. So do we have a motion to keep those two people as clerk and deputy clerk?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Scott.
Second.
A second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Our regular meetings have been on the second Monday of each month, and we meet here in the Commons area of Southampton High School. So do we have a motion to continue meeting at the same time and place?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by Ms. Bradley, a second by Ms. Roundtree. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We need authorization for the vice chair to act in place of the chair. Do we have such a motion? We have a motion by Ms. Bunn, a second by Ms. Lane. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We need to authorize the deputy clerk to act in place of the clerk. I have a motion by Mr. Scott, a second by Ms. Bradley. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We need to authorize Dr. Tanya Taylor to attend meetings in the absence of the superintendent and to report to the State Department of Education.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Bradley,
Second.
a second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We need to authorize the salary of $5,000 per year for board members, with the chairperson to receive an additional $300, and to set mileage for regular meetings at 32.5 cents per mile. Is that Ms. Lane? We have a second. Mr. Scott, any discussion on the motion? So then we've set, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So that authorization is approved. And we need to authorize signing by the chairperson and the clerk for payrolls for Southampton school board employees. I have a motion by Ms. Bunn, a second by Ms. Bradley. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. So with that business taken care of, then we need to adjourn the organizational meeting and reconvene for our regular meeting. So the Organization meeting is adjourned, and the regular meeting will now begin. We have 7 of our 9 school board members present, so we do have a quorum. As Dr. Shannon stated earlier, I would like to welcome our newest school board member, Ms. Oris Lane. So welcome, Ms. Lane. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. In June, Mr. Jim Pope informed the board and informed the school board selection commission that he was resigning from the school board effective June 30th, 2022. So that's why Mr. Pope is not here. He has resigned, and he has notified this board, and he has notified the school board selection commission. So we do have a quorum of 7 of our 9 members. The agenda was in your school board documents. Is there a school board member who would like to add an item to the agenda? So do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Smith.
Second.
A second by Ms. Bunn to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The minutes from the June 13th meeting were included in your school board documents. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes from the June 13th meeting? So could we have a motion then to approve?
Make a motion.
We have a motion by Ms. Bradley,
Second.
a second by Mr. Scott, to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We do not have any recognitions tonight, so we're now going to move into the public comment period of our meeting. Although Virginia law does not require us to hold a public comment period, we choose to do so because we believe it is important for us to hear from our community members. The Southampton County School Board values public participation and recognizes the importance of receiving public input on issues affecting the education of children in our county. The public comment period is a time for citizens and residents to express their views in order to inform the Southampton County School Board. Therefore, please do not expect board members to respond to comments or to answer questions during the public comment period. Even though we encourage public comments, we do ask that speakers adhere to a few guidelines. Individuals wishing to speak should have signed up in the lobby prior to the start of the meeting. Members who wish to speak should limit their comments to 3 minutes. We do have a visible timer so that you can keep track of how long you've been talking. Speakers should address their comments to the board, not to the superintendent or other audience members. Speakers may not give their time to other people, so it's 3 minutes per speaker. We also ask that audience members refrain from comments and demonstrations such as booing, hissing, or clapping. And I see that nobody signed up. So there are no public comments for this evening. Thank you. We have no matters from previous meetings, so we're down to action items. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, our first action item would be the financial report and payment of bills. Ms. Carr?
Good evening. You'll notice the June bill list has been attached to the agenda for your approval tonight. We do not have a June financial report because we operate on an accrual basis of accounting, which this means that all during the months, usually of July, August, and September, we are paying bills and receiving revenues that belong to the previous school year. So when those items have been received and audited, then we will present the report for the June. If you've had a chance to look at the bill list, are there any questions tonight?
Madam Chair, make a motion we pay the bill.
motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Ms. Bunn, to pay the bills as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. The next item on the agenda is the 2022-2023 Virginia High School League membership application. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. In your packet is a membership application for the Virginia High School League. There are 17 sponsored activities and 409 participants are covered by the league insurance. The total amount of our payment due is $3,664.50, and I do recommend that we continue membership with the Virginia High School League and make the payment.
I have a question. We don't have field hockey anymore.
Yes, we do.
I make a motion.
A motion by Ms. Bradley,
Second.
a second by Ms. Lane. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the 2022-2023 Virginia School Boards Association membership dues. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, our school board is a member of the Virginia School Boards Association. VSBA provides training, policy, and other resources for our school board members. The amount for the VSBA membership is $6,448.04, and I recommend that our school board members continue membership with this organization.
So moved.
Have a motion by Ms. Lane,
Second.
a second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Our board adheres to the VSBA Code of Conduct for school board members. There are 12 items that our board adheres to. And we sign this VSBA Code of Conduct each year. So tonight, before you leave, please sign the VSBA Code of Conduct for school board members, indicating that you will adhere to these 12 items. 1, I will have integrity in all matters and support the full development of all children and the welfare of the community, commonwealth, and nation. 2, I will attend scheduled school board meetings. 3, I will come to board meetings informed concerning the issues under consideration. 4, I will make policy decisions based on the available facts and appropriate public input. 5, I will delegate authority for the administration of the schools to the superintendent and establish a process for accountability of administrators. 6, I will encourage individual board members' expression of opinion and establish an open two-way communication process with all segments of the community. 7, I will communicate in accordance with board policies, public reaction and opinion regarding board policies and school programs to the full board and superintendent. 8, I will bring about desired changes through legal and ethical procedures, upholding and enforcing all laws, state regulations, and court orders pertaining to schools. 9, I will refrain from using the board position for personal or partisan gain and avoid any conflict of interest or the appearance of impropriety. 10, I will respect the confidentiality of privileged information and make no individual decisions or commitments that might compromise the board or administration. 11, I will be informed about current educational issues through individual study and participation in appropriate programs such as those sponsored by my state and national school boards association. And 12, I will always remember that the foremost concerns of the board is to improve and enhance the teaching and learning experience for all students in the public schools in Virginia. Therefore, always strive to demonstrate appropriate behavior, conduct as a public school board member. And I ask that before you leave tonight that you sign the code of conduct so we'll have a record of that. But I suppose we do need a motion, though, to approve that we will adhere to the VSBA Code of Conduct. We'll have a motion by Mr. Smith. A second by Ms. Bunn. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? So now that we've approved the code, please make sure you sign it before you leave tonight. So now we're down to informational items, and the first informational item is the instructional report. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. Teaching and learning remains one of our utmost priorities. Each month, we share events about what is occurring within our school division, as well as what has occurred in the Department of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment. And so tonight, we'll have Mrs. Gillette, our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, to provide a report for us as to what is occurring this summer.
Good evening, Dr. Goodwin, Dr. Shannon, board members, and all present. It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. I do have the July instructional report for you. Our topics are summer reading, summer success, and our preparations for the 22-23 school year professional development and summer activities. First of all, for the summer, we did send home books for all students in K through 5, scholastic fiction and nonfiction books. The packets included 6 to 10 books. They had, you can see all these listed here, a summer reading journal, a set of colored pencils, a student postcard, an online program guide. These went to all K through 5 students, and this is an example of what they look like. We also looked at our pre-K. We sent home K transition kits with them, and you can see all the goodies that we had in there. I wanted a kit too. I wanted magnetic letters and dry erase boards and scissors and rulers, all the goodies they used during the summer. And you can see this example of what it looked like, especially the Play-Doh. And then just a little update on our summer school. Our administrators for summer school have been working very hard, very diligently to expand the summer success program, as we have our elementary summer school at Riverdale. We have our 21st century program at the middle school, and also at our high school. Summer school is happening with 1 and 2 sessions happening all day from 7:30 to 5:30. The teachers have created meaningful assessments for the students so they can be assessed. They were assessed at the beginning of the program, and they'll be assessed at the end as well to see growth. The teachers have taken this data and they're using it to drive that instruction in the classroom every day. And I want to share just our enrollment. Right now we have 127 students at the elementary. We have 68 students at the 21st century, 55 students at the high school. That number will continue to drop as students have their credit recovery. As soon as they receive that, they'll be able to not continue to coming to the program. We do have 11 students in the Tyler Regional Governor's School. That program is for the next 2 weeks. It lasts until the 21st, Monday through Thursday. It's at George Tyler Middle School in Windsor. The topic this year is with archaeology, and it's can you dig it is their topic. And then I did want to share with you some of the things we're doing to get ready for next school year. We do have several committees that are going on. We do have a reading committee where we're looking at the comprehensive reading plan. That's something that we worked on this past year. We're having a committee this year in the summer to have input from our teachers and from paras. We do have them on the committee as well, and principals. We also have a science committee, and since we are going to do the full implementation of the 2018 science standards this year, that had been delayed 2 years because of COVID. But now they're going to use those new standards as we test this year. So we also had, and that's on the next page, we'll talk about that in a second. But we also had looking at asynchronous teacher committee where we had them looking at coding. As you know, we did Code to the Future for elementary and middle school this past year. And Code to the Future, we wanted to make sure that everything was aligned with the Virginia standards. And we figured the best way to do that was to use our teachers. And so we're asking them to create small projects that can be done in half a class period or a whole class period, and even bigger projects that they could do within 1 to 3 days. And those will come directly from our teachers, and they can share with other grade levels and make them less or higher, depending on the age of the child. We also looked at a summer PD committee, and that committee actually already met today, and we're talking about what will be best for the upcoming 2 weeks in August before school starts. And that will consist of the professional development the teachers think they need the most, what they think would make it more exciting and motivating, who we could come and have and speak with us. So we're gonna have a survey that will go out to all staff as well. And then what I was holding off on, we talked about the new science standards. We did adopt new science books for the coming up school year. We went through the VDOA process, and all the teachers examined the books and chose which one they wanted. All the books were on the VDOE approved list. We did adopt math for the middle school as well. And that is the July instructional report. Do you have any questions this evening?
Any questions?
No, it went fast. Yes, ma'am.
Your new standards for science, is it on all levels?
Yes, ma'am. It'll be all levels. So we have 5th grade, it'll have theirs, and then 8th grade physical science, and then biology, chemistry, and physical science with those.
We couldn't hear your question, Ms. Lang.
I'm sorry, I asked if that was the new standards for science on all levels, not just elementary, all levels.
And so it's so important with the, with like 8th grade physical science, because so much of the 6th and 7th grade is in on the physical science, and also, you know, there's a buildup from K through 4 on the 5th grade. So we have to make sure that we keep all of those grade levels up to date.
Any other questions for Ms. Gillette?
Thank you all.
Thank you. The next item is the ABM project review. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. We have representatives here from ABM, and they're here tonight to discuss work that they performed over 5 years ago, as well as to make a cursory proposal for next steps and what we're going to do as far as comfort needs for our students and staff are concerned, as well as energy efficiency. So thank you all.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, Dr. Shannon, and members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here again to just provide kind of an overview of some work that was done about 2015, 2016. And as recently as last summer, we've been through your facilities again and have some additional recommendations that we'll go through. With me tonight is John Crane, and I'm with Blake. So if you have any questions, feel free to just jump right in. I know this screen is really hard to see, and I don't intend for you to strain your eyes to look at it, but just to kind of take us back to when ABM was selected through a competitive process to work with Southampton County Public Schools. Our team went through all of your facilities and identified nearly $20 million worth of not only energy conservation measures, but also capital improvement projects, mainly around mechanical systems, roofing, and so forth. Out of that $20 million that was identified, the school board did select to move forward with about $7 million worth of comprehensive improvements. I'll go through and kind of take you through by school what those improvements were. Starting with division-wide, so we don't, these don't apply to a particular school, but we did look at a computer power management program that helps with the district PCs to put them in low power mode when they're not in use, as well as a demand response program, which the district still participates in today, which you take advantage of program payments to be available to shed load during times of peak demand, and also some other automation work. At the high school, we did do some LED lighting work, building automation system upgrades, and then we did do some pretty comprehensive mechanical, which are heating, ventilation, and air conditioning work. We didn't touch every component, but pretty much everything on the roof was replaced, as well as the boilers, both your domestic and hot water. At the middle school, again, you'll see lighting upgrades, building automation system upgrades, building envelope. So this has helped to seal the building up so you don't get unwanted air into the building when it's really hot, very cold. There was also work on your heating and air conditioning systems as well. Basically, we went around and where things were broken, they were fixed. And then we did switch the boilers to an alternate fuel boiler. Okay, the Career and Tech Center, again, LED lighting upgrades, building automation system, building envelope, and there was some heating and air conditioning work replacement for the 4 package units, and some work on the liquid propane furnace. Okay, at the Capron Elementary School, same thing, lighting upgrades, building automation system improvements, building envelope, and we did some maintenance on the mechanical HVAC system there. Similarly, at Meharon, lighting, building envelope, maintenance on the mechanical system, and also alternate dual fuel boiler on the boiler. Okay, at Riverdale, I believe this was a pretty new school back when this project was put in, so it was just LED lighting and occupancy scissors, as well as upgrades to the building automation system. Nottaway Elementary, you see the same ones repeat, the lighting, building envelope, building automation. There was a retrofit for the boilers, and there was power quality. There was some issues with, I guess you would call it dirty power or power interruptions at school, so there was some work to be done to work on that. And then at the central office and the bus garage, there was just some lighting improvements done there. Any questions about the work that was completed back in 2015? So this project was done under a guaranteed energy savings program. So that project, ABM had guaranteed that the project, once implemented, would save over $440,000 every year. Our measurement verification team has been on board since day one. As of year 5, which is the most recent report we have, the cost avoidance that was verified was over $463,000. So the good news is that you're exceeding savings by about $23,000. Any questions about the financials? So when I mentioned earlier that when we started the program 5 years ago, we identified needs that were beyond the $7 million project that was implemented. A lot of our customers do these projects in phases. So we did come out last summer and we did an analysis. We call it a feasibility analysis for what a potential phase 2 would look like. So we have collected utility data. We have been on site with our engineering team and have walked all of the schools again. And what I'm going to present you with here is just some preliminary findings and what we think a project may look like if you entertain a phase 2. Okay, here at the high school, we are recommending that the HVAC units for the gym be replaced and the piping be reconfigured. You'll notice on phase 1 where we did a lot of work with your building automation system. Building automation systems are kind of like your iPhones. They have to be upgraded and software installed to keep them current. So we're recommending a recommissioning of those controls and putting the most current operating system on the controls. So the team has all access to the functionality that the building automation system offers. There's an opportunity to not only replace equipment with the walk-in coolers, but the new EC motors are going to allow just a better energy use of those walk-in coolers. Very similarly, this aquastats on domestic boilers are going to help control the use of those boilers, so it's going to save energy and fuel. And then you'll see these kind of reoccurring as I go through the schools. We're going to recommend doing a functional diagnostic of all the equipment and controls in the buildings and really coming up with a customized maintenance program to be able to support the team here to make sure the buildings are performing as they're intended to.
The HVAC system here at the high school, you're talking about just the gym, or are you going to look at any of the rest of it for the rest of the school?
We would look at all aspects of the equipment. A lot of the main concerns were addressed 5 years ago, and what we identified last summer was primarily in the
Okay, because I know there was a couple of classrooms that had issues this year.
We would look at every single issue and every piece of equipment in the school.
Every issue would be evaluated under the next phase. That could be a controls issue, but we would look at every single piece of equipment, and as we did in the first phase, assign it a letter grade and really let your team decide what that next project should look like. Okay, middle school, again, another comment about the controls, just making sure we're on the newest version. Apparently there was an issue when we were on site on unit number 14 of the air handler. But again, to John's point, we would look at all of the mechanical systems and electrical systems and provide a report based on our findings there. But we are, during our preliminary, we did discover that the unit in the gym, I know there's some condensing issues and some leaking, so that's something we would want to look at as well. My comment already about walk-in coolers, wherever we see a walk-in cooler, we would look at replacing that with a new motor, a new condenser. There's an opportunity to upgrade the heating domestic boiler here. And then the other comments are just like I talked about before, so I won't repeat, but just around the functional diagnostics and transformer. I don't think I mentioned last time, that would be a secondary transformer that basically takes the power that's coming in from the power company and brings it down to the voltage that's required in the building. Those are old, original to the building. There can be energy savings associated with upgrading those. Any questions? The tech center here, upgrade HVAC units over the ag shop and over the boardroom. Again, functional diagnostics, recommissioning, transformer upgrades. At Cape Run Elementary School, when we were on site, I think there was a comment about the school potentially being replaced, so that's something we want to talk to your team more about, because that could really lead to the direction of what you want to do with that school. But all of the PTAC units, which are the units in the classrooms, we're recommending replacing because they're at the end of their useful life. That could be causing problems with comfort and temperature control there. The other components I've talked about on the other schools, aquastats on the boilers, testing, and putting together that customized preventative maintenance program that's going to help keep the building operating as it's intended for a long time. Heron Elementary, there's some old boilers that we're recommending be replaced or upgraded. And again, recommissioning, functional diagnostics, very similar to the other school. At Riverdale, you see the same theme here. We are considering adding VAVs, which is another method to distribute the air throughout the building. That's something we want to look at in greater detail during the next phase. I think some of these have been dealt with since we've been here last summer, the gym unit, but you'll see some of the other solutions that we're recommending throughout the district here, recommissioning and the preventative maintenance program. At Nottoway, boiler valves and gaskets to reduce the leaking, controls commissioning. There's at the time of our visit, there was an issue with the unit in the front office, upgrading transformers, and again, kitchen walk-in coolers, and back to the preventative maintenance program. So during this phase, we put together a preliminary, what we think would be funded through another program with ABM, and that would be energy savings equal to about $137,000 a year. That's based on how your utility spend is now and what we've seen on site. That would generate roughly $2 million of capital improvements that could be put towards new HVAC, upgraded lighting, those different energy conservation and comfort measures that we talked about in those schools. Could be operational savings that could be captured. We'll need to do some more further analysis on that. Operational savings would be when you hire third parties to come in and do some repairs. If we can replace that equipment with new equipment, it would reduce the amount of those calls and repairs that would be needed. Also, a lot of our customers will utilize other funding if there are needs outside of just what energy savings will pay for. Stimulus funds or capital money can be put in to help leverage and purchase a more comprehensive program. Same with capital contributions. Any questions about the preliminary project financials? And as in phase one, the results are guaranteed and bonded. Just to shine a light on some additional infrastructure solutions, we work with K-12 schools throughout the Commonwealth here, and we're doing things like solar, electrification of the school bus fleets, doing turf field conversions to artificial turf, track resurfacing, even playground equipment. So a lot of things are allowed under our projects. One of your neighboring communities, we work with Charles City County Public Schools, and we were able to secure them a grant for $500,000, which went towards a land-mounted solar array next to their high school, which is going to make the high school nearly 90% of their electric uses will come from that solar field. So very close to net zero. During the next phase, and some of you might remember, but we'll go through the entire buildings, like John mentioned, provide a full asset of an inventory of all of your assets and assign them a letter grade. This is not representative of your district. This is just a sample. So where we can help you is identify where our project should hit, where we should focus our efforts. And that would be on those assets that are going to be in that D and F and potentially C. Those are the assets that create the greatest risk for you because they're going to fail at the end of their useful life. And then items in the A and B category can be help you to build your long-term CIP plan. This is just a sample of what you would receive if you move forward with the next step, which would be that investment grade audit. A full breakdown of cost and savings, how much life you have left in the different assets within your buildings, so then your team can make decisions on which projects to move forward with and which projects to maybe wait for later. Again, this is just a sample illustration. Also, we get a lot of interest from our K-12 customers in how can we engage students during this process. So we look to be able to bring some of these energy conservation measures into the classroom, whether it's the picture to the far right is a solar and wind turbine display that was put on a roof and can be tied into an interactive display that students can actually see real-time data. At Virginia Beach Public Schools, they actually use electric vehicles for their not after school, but their, what do you call them, teach kids driver's ed, their driver's ed program. So just different ideas and different things that we've been able to work with our K-12 customers and help bring some of the student engagement into the project. And ABM, we've been your partner for a number of years. We appreciate the opportunity to continue to be. We have a local presence right here in Chesapeake. We've got a very strong team, and we provide vendor-neutral solutions. So we're not trying to position certain products for you. We're trying to really pick the best products that are going to meet the needs of the school system for years to come. And if you have any questions, we would be delighted to answer.
Any questions, board members? Thank you very much for your help. Any questions? Yeah.
We weren't that good. There's got to be questions.
I warned them, so you all ask some questions, please. I told them to be ready.
I don't think, you were so thorough, we have no questions.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you very much.
So what would be the next phase with this?
So
We need to talk about this as well, where we at.
Yeah, I think we do need to discuss it.
okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the roof inspection report. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, tonight we have Mr. Robbie Powell with us from Powell Roofing. And Mr. Powell conducts a monthly roof inspection on our flat roofs and a quarterly roof inspection on all other school roofs. So Mr. Powell is going to come forward tonight and share with you some of his most recent roof inspections. Thank you, Mr. Powell. I appreciate you coming.
Good evening. Good evening. How's everybody? Okay, so every month we come to the high school campus out here, check everything, walk the whole roof, make sure their drains are clogged or debris or anything really, just kind of looking around, just getting our eyes on this school and the middle school every month, and also Cambridge. And then on the shingle roofs, it's every other month we're there. So, and same thing, check the gutters, check the roofs, make sure nothing minor is going on. So, I mean, if you have any questions about that, so far, once we started, the first little bit it was quite a bit to kind of catch up because it's been a little while since the roof was put on. But now everything is very minor stuff that we find is everything's kind of smooth sailing. But I'll be glad to answer any questions you got.
And the board members have a copy of all of your roof reports from November of 2021 through June of 2022. And if you don't have it, I'd like to share.
Sure, yeah, I didn't bring any of that.
Okay, we get all this. We work as a team around here.
Yeah. If y'all have time to look at it.
Yeah.
Any questions at all?
And the most recent report is on the top for each school, and it's divided by school, everyone.
So I guess if we go to the last tab, that's the tab for the high school.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay, it says date of completion. No issues found. Go to the last tab, is the high school.
Would you speak to what you've seen at the high school? If you've seen anything, I see here where you talk about bagging and removing debris and things like that, but other than that, it's no issues at all.
No, ma'am. For the most part, we are checking the seams, make sure everything is staying nice and tight and sealed. Around all the terminations or the walls or anything like that, anything that has sealing, make sure that that's not cracking or in disrepair, it needs to be tightened up. Really, it's more of trying to stay ahead of anything minor that could turn into something troublesome.
And I would like to remind the board that Mr. Powell did install the full roof at Maharon, so he did a great job. As a matter of fact, he did such a good job that Mr. Hale, our roofing consultant, began, trying to work with Mr. Powell on doing some other things for him.
As a matter of fact, we walked around all the roofs today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Any questions?
As long as there's no roof problem.
That's right. Trying to stay in front of all that.
I think the report is great. I love the way it's dated. I love the way it's broken down by school and the issues covered.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Dr. Shannon, do you want this back? Is this yours?
Mr. Powell, I do have one question.
Sure.
Do you think it's adequate doing the other schools every other month? You say you do the flat roofs every month, but you do the others every other month?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that's adequate?
Yes, ma'am. There's no reason to do the steeper slopes, the shingle roofs, any more often than that. The issues that could come along on those roofs because of the slope, we can catch that, without going every single month. And it saves you some money, but there's no reason to spend the money if you don't have to. Now on these, it's a good idea because there's something going on with this every time. There's a drain here or there's, some sealing over there. Or there's something going on with these just because of the size of it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Next item is the maintenance and transportation report. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Melby is going to come forward and make that report to the school board. Mr. Melby? Did you walk the roofs with him today?
I did not walk the roofs with him today, no
Yeah,
ma'am.
sometimes, so.
Yes, no, a lot. I go up there as much as I can. Good evening, Dr. Goodwin Board. I'd like to take you through just the last month in maintenance, operation, transportation. At the middle school, we had a bunch of the exterior doors replaced. These were replaced on the south side of the library. There's a side door coming into the VOTEC, and then it used to be an art room and ag room at the middle school. It's the east-facing door. So we replaced that, as well as the bathrooms out here at the fields. So all of those have new doors on them. We do have a contractor on site working, replacing damaged plaster on the walls, on the north-facing walls at the middle school, and we have started to receive bids on painting for the interior of the middle school and high school. We have had all of the buses in and checked. The ones that needed reconditioning in the seats, they have been completed. For some of our issues, so we had in the VOTEC, we had a backed up drain in the tool shop, in the egg shop classroom. We got that replaced. It was a fun night trying to keep all that water to going down. At Nottoway, we had the cafetorium was warm, but we did get the booth out there, took care of it, and they had the climate was right for all of their celebrations they had there. At the middle school, we had 2 different days where the chiller went down in the morning. One day the it went into alarm on its own. Another day it tripped its own breaker. Got out there, got everything straight, and we continue to monitor that every day. At Riverdale, we had one hallway that went warm because the air handler went down, and it was found to be a breaker that was tripped. We got that straight. And then at the middle school, one day we had 3 different units go out, and we couldn't get them to come back on. So we got DeMuth out here. Milton put his magic touch on it, got them working, and we haven't had an issue since, knock on wood, with them. All right, out back here, we finally have the septic pump replaced. That took them about 2.5, 3 months for that to just get on site after they took the old one out and had this temporary one in. That has been done and completed. We had a very successful graduation here in the gym. And our lighting project outside is going very well right now, and they're ahead of schedule. Dominion is working at the trailer at Capron. I don't know why I didn't put, Turner Electric is working on the electric at both the high school, the middle school, and Capron for us, and installing the electricity in our new modular units. So they are underway as well. As Ms. Gillette said, we do have summer school underway right now. We are currently transporting over 250 students. You have the breakdown there, split pretty much between the middle or the secondary and the elementary schools. We have 16 students going out of district for those day treatment facilities, and we're utilizing 12 bus drivers and 7 car drivers. We did add 5 electric vehicles to our pupil transportation fleet, the Chevy Bolts. We were able to add those in. GM finally took the restrictions off, and we were able to get those in, so we will be putting those on the road as soon as we can get them licensed and titled and ready to roll. The new diesel buses are due at the end of August, and the new electric buses are due at the end of September. So that is where we're at with transportation. Celebrate 4th of July a little bit, so there's my animation for this month. So thank you all very much. Is there any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Melvin?
Yes, Mr. Melvin.
Yes, ma'am.
What's this chiller down mean?
Well, how air conditioning works at the middle school is it goes through a water chiller. And that chiller it takes water in and sends water back out. It takes the water returning in, sends it through coils, chills it down, and then sends it back out to the rooms where it is then fed through those coils and fans and blows the cold air into the room. Once it goes through those coils, comes back to the chiller, gets re-chilled down, and then right back out. It's a big circulation, and if it stops pumping itself, then we lose that cold air being pumped out of each of the units.
So the unit, whole unit broke down?
It didn't break down. What it did on 2 separate occasions, one, it tripped its own breaker, and it set itself into alarm. So if it's flowing too much or not enough, it'll set itself into alarm. Or if they're, like that breaker going off, if there was a surge, something pop the breaker.
Okay, one more question.
Yes, ma'am?
The interiors of the middle school and high school, you're gonna be able to complete that painting this summer?
There is no way with that scope of project that it would be able to be done, even if we started the day classes ended. That project is going to be something that is going to have to be chunked out. Yes, ma'am.
But I think with the painting, it's out for bid. So I think we have to see what the bids are and the scope of the work, Ms. Lane, to see, to get a schedule of completion. But our goal is to have the majority of those buildings painted before students return in September. Ms. Bradley, you want to elaborate a little bit more?
It does need to be painted. Mr. Melby told me tonight that he has received one bid so far, and that bid is just so far out there that it's, yes.
What's the closing date on the bids?
Roughly, well, what's the closing date? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
you said it was out for bid. What's the closing
We
date?
are inviting folks to come in to give us their bid. And so we've had contractors in the house to give us, so they're here. So we have not put an end on that. We are trying to get people to come. We had last month, we talked about we couldn't get anybody to even look at it. But we're finally getting people to even give us an estimate.
And the one that we've gotten is so, like it's just so cost prohibitive that we hope some more will be coming in soon.
And
And I think we've talked to the superintendent about the bidding process and how that should flow.
What he's actually talking about is a quote. He's got a quote thus far.
Thank you.
yes, ma'am.
So the next item is the VSBA policy page. You probably saw that in your communication from VSBA. Now, what you see listed on the policy page will come back to us as policy for a first read for our August meeting. However, in order for the superintendent to put together the policy for the first read, we need to look at item B, D, D. In our policy manual, we say that school board members can participate remotely in meetings. However, the majority of the board has to be physically present. Well, now that policy has to include the number of times each member may participate electronically for personal reasons. So we need to establish a number of times that school board members may participate electronically. So any suggestions from board members in terms of what we think that number should be?
Is this per year?
Per year.
Per year.
So we have 12 regularly scheduled meetings per year, and occasionally we do have called meetings or special meetings, but we do need to have in our policy, revise our policy to specify the number of times per year a board member can participate electronically. Any suggestions? Say it again. Well, see, my thinking is that if we only meet 12 times per year, you would think that board members need to be present at 90% of the meetings, 95% of the meetings. So, my thinking is that, maybe two meetings or.
I would tend to agree with that. We want people present for 80 to 90% of meetings at least. So I think two is good with me. And that's fine, if you can be here, then you need to physically be present. And I think most of us do that.
Right.
But it's just, I understand the policy, we have to put a number in there.
Right, so, and we reached a consensus that as Dr. Shannon, revises this policy for us to look at, come to us as a first read next month, that she can use the number 2 as the number of times each member may participate electronically for personal reasons. Is that consensus? Okay, so Dr. Shannon, when you revise the policy, and these policies will come to us for a first read next month. You can see there are a bunch of them there, but that was the only information that Dr. Shannon needed from us in order to update the policies that are there. Okay, so we're down to student enrollment, and Dr. Shannon?
Yes, we have 2,549 students enrolled in our school division as of June 2022. And for the student and teacher attendance award, Southampton High School is the winner of the student attendance award with 96.33% of our students being present. And then Southampton High School is also the winner of our teacher attendance award with 92.86% of teachers being present. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And yes, I'm getting ready to do the overall. Looking at the report overall for students, Nottaway is the winner, and that's for the school year, with 95.2% of their students being present all year. And then as far as teachers are concerned, it's Meharan Elementary School with 93.11%. All right, let's give everyone a round of applause.
Fantastic. There are some appointments that I would like to make tonight for our regional boards and for the disciplinary committee. We'll wait until a later time to select members for the budget committee and for the facilities committee, but for right now, we need to look at Appomattox Regional Government School, and that's in Petersburg. And I would really like to ask our new member, Ms. Lane, if she would represent Southampton on the Appomattox Regional Government School Board. Thank you, and I will be the alternate. And so Ms. Artis will make sure that Appomattox has your contact information. They usually meet the second Thursday of the month. Some of the meetings are in person, some are electronic. But Ms. Artis can give you more information, and she'll communicate to Appomattox that you're the representative and I'm the alternate. At the Governor's School of the Arts, I was hoping that Mr. Smith, you will continue to be the representative at Governor's School for the Arts. Thank you. And Ms. Bradley, would you be the alternate there, please? Yes. Okay. And then for CSEP, Ms. Bradley, would you be the representative? For CSEP?
Where do they meet? They meet at the same time?
They meet on the same day and time. So what we've been doing in the past is have one person represent CSEP and the other one represent Governor's School, because they meet on the same day and they're both in Norfolk. So, so if you would be the representative, Mr. Smith could be your alternate.
Okay.
Would that work?
I hope.
Thank you. And then I would like to be the representative for WHRO. That's what Ms. Bradley had been doing. But you know what? Yeah, I would like to do that. And then Ms. Bunn, you'll be the alternate. please. And then for the Student Disciplinary Committee, Ms. Reynolds will be representing, Mrs. Bunn, would you agree to serve on that Student Disciplinary Committee?
Yes.
And Ms. Roundtree, will you remain on that committee? Okay, and Mr. Scott, will you be the alternate on that committee?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So then we have all of our appointments. Okay. So then pursuant to section 2.2-3711A1 and 2 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, the board upon a motion and a second will convene in a closed session in the library to consider the following: personnel appointments, resignations, retirements, transfers, searches and compensation, intra-district student requests, out-of-district student requests, student discipline matters, and legal matters. So do we have a motion to go into closed session? So a motion by Ms. Bond, a second by Ms. Bradley. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So we will go to the library for the closed session part of the meeting, and we will return to this area after closed session to take action on any items that we need to take action on. So I will meet everybody in the library.